Hi and welcome to day 5 of week 2 of training cycle 2 of 2021. Today was a good day. It was one of those days where I was really tired, but I was still strong. Everything went very well except for the squats today. And I actually did get the squat fair and square, and what I mean by that is I went far enough downwards, I got to depth, but here on the eccentric, it doesn't look that bad, but I can really feel that my back is caving over, and there are a lot of factors to that. One thing I am feeling is the last couple days, my glutes. I've really felt my glutes. I think it's the back of works absolutely no. It's the back of work on the squats, and it's also the high rep stiff leg deadlifts for the ultra deficits that I do, and the rows, everything in combination. I really feel it in my glutes now, and I think that's a very good thing because I need more glute power, but it could also be a sign that I have weak glutes, and that means that the glute is having a difficult time. So what I can say is I need more glute strength, and I also need more spinal erector strength, right? I'm not going to say back strength because my lats are very strong, very strong. My spinal erectors, basically from the base of my spine all the way up to the neck, all the way up into the head, right? From my pelvis to the base of my neck, that whole long system of muscles that just runs up next to each side of my spine, those are weak muscles for me. And those are completely essential muscles in the squat and the deadlift. They're also essential muscles to keep you safe. And I call them muscles really because it isn't really a continuous muscle. There are a lot of different fibers, even though it kind of looks and feels like one muscle. And it works as one muscle. It isn't one muscle because there are a lot of different fibers. Okay, this is the overhead press. They were difficult today, or it was difficult, but I got it. Failed the bench press yesterday, as you guys saw, and I actually didn't feel that fucked up from the bench press. I don't know why I didn't feel fucked up, but I managed to get the overhead press today, which I was very happy about. Because failing 2 presses in a week is like, at that point you failed, a third of the pressing. 2 out of 6 is 1 out of 3, if that makes sense. For those of you who aren't mathematicians. Not that I'm a mathematician, but whatever. I also did the back off work on the overhead press today with 10 kilos less than what I did my daily minimum on. The reason why I chose 10 kilos less is because it says in my program, but the reason it says that in my program is because at the end of this training cycle, the goal is to overhead press 70 kilos. Alright, and now 70 kilos times 0.85. I can't remember what it is, but it's less than 60, right? I believe it's 59 point something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at least it's closer to 60 than it is to 57.5. So the plan is to get 60 kilos for a triple at the end, and I'm staying 10 kilos under on the back off work so that at this moment, when it comes to percentages, it's slightly easier. And as the training cycle picks up and continues, as I get heavier, as I start gaining more fat, percentage-wise, it ramps up a little bit so that I can make my daily lifts a little bit easier. Or at least I'm going to build some muscle towards the end. Now, this is silly bro science shit, and this won't make a big difference, but I like to think that, the percentages of how close my back off work is to my maxes, that going upwards psychologically feels better than going downwards. So that's why I'm doing that. And obviously, if I could have a bunch of little micro plates and get it exactly on the gram, I would probably do that. But it's not really practical to try to load the bar with, I don't know, let's just throw something out, 56.25, right? No one's going to do that. We'll do the 2.5 kilo jumps. And in the future, I'm probably going to get micro plates and do 1 kilo jumps. But at this moment, at this point in my training, it's pretty damn unnecessary for me to start getting micro plates, because on pretty much every single lift, I don't really have an issue progressing 2.5 kilos. It's more of a, can I, have a good day? Like, as soon as I have a good day, I can add another 2.5 kilos. So, yeah. Now it's a ramble and a rant, or rant, whatever. But that's kind of warranted because these videos are fucking long at this point. My volume is insane. Now, you might think that it's not insane, but if you consider the weights and how heavy it is for me, and that I'm doing jump rope for basically 10 minutes a day after my training in a row, I'm doing running on the Sundays, I'm sleeping really little, like, if you consider the fact also that I'm training every single day, 0 rest days, 0, then you start understanding that my volume compared to everything else, because volume is a relative thing, is fucking high. Now, volume isn't everything though. Otherwise, we would all be doing 100 sets of 10 with 20 kilos on the bench press. Obviously, no one's doing that because it doesn't really work well. It's more of an endurance thing, and it will probably destroy you and your tendons for a short while. Destroy your recovery. It's not efficient. No one ever did that to get big and strong. So we need to recognize that it's not just about volume, it's not just about intensity, it's not just about fatigue, it's not just about range of motion, it's all these things, right? But the easiest way to put it is work by the muscle. So work is force times distance. That means that if you do a deeper squat, for example, now you've got the same force times a longer distance. So that's more work, right? This is physics, right? Force times distance, like I said. Force in newtons times meters. Now, if you accelerate faster, if you move faster on that squat, for example, then it's force is mass times acceleration. So to get force, once you increase that speed, what I'm really trying to say here is, once you increase the speed, you increase the force as well. You can also add reps, which that will be force times distance, except it would be several times. So it would be force times distance times 3, let's say. So these are things that we need to consider. But it isn't just force times distance, it's also how difficult was that to you. Because, like, to do a, let's just say, a 90 kilo, for me to do a 100 kilo squat for 5 sets of 1 is pretty hard, but not super hard. But if I were to do 90 kilos, I could probably do 15 or 20 sets of 1 fairly handily. So it isn't just about the force times distance, total volume, how many reps did you do, how much weight did you move, right? That's another thing that bodybuilders do, like, oh, I did a 10,000 pound bench press workout today. No one cares. What is even 10,000 pounds, right? That's 100 times 100, right? So that means that you moved 100 pounds times 100 reps. What happens if you move 50 pounds times 200 reps? I mean, when do we reach that point to where it isn't really effective? Right? There's a big difference between moving 100 pounds for 100 reps total and moving 200 pounds for 50 reps total. Now, if my math is wrong, I'm sorry, I've slept 5 hours, literally, but if it isn't, then that means I'm a smart motherfucker. Truth is probably somewhere in between. Okay, hamstrings. By the way, I keep rambling over every single exercise, but I don't really have anything to comment on. I actually have one thing. The rows today were really good. The shoulder pain that I had yesterday was gone today. Oh, it wasn't gone, but I figured out the rowing technique and had a good day as well. So I did the rows completely pain-free today. These hamstring curls were also like fucking hard, especially the first rep, because the first rep I cheated so little. Alright, it really makes a difference what your hip angle is. Basically, if your hips are far back and like you have a big angle, so that your spine and your femur isn't in the same angle, they aren't parallel to each other. Basically, if there isn't a straight line from the base of your neck to your knees into the pad, that means that you're trying to compensate. Obviously, I'm compensating, right? Hips back, and so that I get a shorter movement arm in total. I'm also, flexing my neck upwards, which would also, slightly shorten that movement arm, slightly make the leverages more favorable. So yeah, on those hamstring curls, I'm gonna get up to 3 reps, then I'm gonna decrease the height slightly, but I'm going to just start with 1 rep and then build up to 3 reps again. So that's the plan for those, so that I can continue to work on the form, because I could probably go quite a lot deeper if I did a bullshit form on the hamstring curl, but that really defeats the purpose. Now, we can't always have perfect form when we are training hard, and it isn't necessary to have perfect form, but we need to think about what is working the muscle harder. And I can fucking feel that the muscle is working way harder when I have good technique than when I have bad technique. Because when you have bad technique, I'm just using a bunch of other muscles and creating leverage advantages for me. And we don't want leverage advantages on hypertrophy based lifts, right? On a bicep curl, you don't want to optimize your leverages. Or you do, because otherwise you're going to get injured somewhere, but it isn't as essential as on a bench press. On a bench press, you need to optimize your leverages. You need to move in the way that your body can produce the most force, because that is the safest position almost all the time. And if it isn't, that means that you've got muscular imbalances. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I'm very happy to see that I have 137, I believe. 136. Do I have 100? Whatever. I have like 136 subscribers now. I'm very happy about that. So thank you guys for following my journey. And I'm going to continue to get stronger. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. So goodbye.